Just before you hit play, any theoretical physicists in the room? Seriously? Awesome. Let's catch up later on. I think. Again, like my apology before on machine learning, you will hate some of my simplifications here, but never mind. There is a quantum meetup that happens in New York City once a month. People come up from Philly for it, so please search for that on Meetup and come on and join. Quantum physicists, theoretical physicists, electrical engineers, and computer scientists in one room. So, did you hit play?
I did. Should I wait?
Tick, tick. No, I'm good.
You ready?
Okay. You know me, that's me, that kind of thing. And what I want to try to do in the next, however long this is, because we just edited it before, is get you excited about quantum computing and where it is. Where it is today is sort of like where classical computing was, I guess, back in the 30s to 60s, where they were building machines that were unreliable. So if we look at the timeline here, quantum mechanics started back in about 1901, when Planck worked out that energy was quantized. It stayed in the realm of the theoretical physicists until about 1980, when Benioff and Feynman came along and said, hey, we could use that for computing. When you see a quantum computer, you'll normally see a photo like this. This is a naked quantum computer, not safe for work. What you're actually looking at here is a dilution refrigerator. So all of the gold and pretty stuff you're seeing there is actually just about getting a tiny thing, this thing, a qubit, a chip, at the bottom of that whole connection down to 15 millikelvins. That's colder than deep space. And you won't be able to get this in your laptop or your phone because of all that refrigeration requirements. So you're always going to see a quantum computer as a sidecar to how you're running your regular classical computing. And by the way, everything that we have our jobs in and everything today has now become classical computing. All right? What got me hooked on QC? I met a French guy at a conference in Germany, and he drew this blocked sphere for me. And I thought he was drawing an atom, but in fact it's a sphere of potential values. And I've talked about this enough to my friends that last Christmas my friends bought me this T-shirt in order to try and get me to shut up, right? And to stop talking about it. So I apologize, but I really love this stuff. Superposition is a very cool thing. I put it on 2 slides to cheat a bit. Superposition is how a particle can be in 2 places at the same time and can even interfere with itself being in a different place at the same time. Sounds crazy, run with me. What that means is that a qubit can not only have a value of 0 or 1, it can have a value of 0 and 1 at the same time. And that allows massive parallel processing. Entanglement is something that even Einstein described as spooky, and that's the nature that you can take 2 particles and entangle them and then separate them and they remain entangled despite the intervening space, and we have proved this. How do you code for computers? Quantum computers, well, one example is this circuit example from IBM has a public space so you can go and run your code on quantum computers. And if that isn't cool enough to get you a free drink in a bar, I don't know what is. The second example, what I like about the visual example is that it lets you realize that you're actually kind of creating the chip, designing the chip to match your challenge. So it's a little different from how we think about coding today because it's such early days in this area. But don't fear, there are kits. CRISKit is the IBM example that we can use to write quantum code and be in a more familiar environment, an IDE for ourselves. The challenge with quantum computing today is mostly around errors. It's getting these particles to cohere and stay in coherence, because when you actually interfere with them, you change the energy level and they lose coherence. Why are people paying attention to quantum computing? See the numbers in the middle there, the 28 with lots of zeros? Theoretically, a calculation, certain parallel calculations on quantum computers that might take thousands and thousands of years can be done in seconds on quantum computers, and we have established this. Industries that are looking at this, pharmaceutical companies are looking at it for molecular structure. Volkswagen has a heavy investment in flow mechanics. They also have a heavy investment in logistics. Most of the major finance companies in New York City are investing in quantum computing because they see it improving on their algorithms. Cisco, our parent company, is investing on the cryptography side. There are real-world benefits, and this is the takeaway. If your job entails you creating or updating algorithms in your job today, you should be watching quantum computing. because as they're tuning algorithms to run on these crazy error-prone quantum computers, they're improving the algorithms. And that last example, where in a hospital they sort of tuned these algorithms on quantum computers, worked out that they were much more accurate as well when running on classical computers. What's the future here? Quantum will be a sort of sidecar, like a graphics card or something like that, except extremely big. And the impact of this is that there's a lot of competition for PhDs. Colleges and universities are complaining because businesses are hiring out the PhDs for when quantum computing kicks in. So as I say, if you're creating or managing, creating or updating algorithms today, have a look at this space. There's a bunch of links here, take a quick photo of it or something like that, but Quantum Weekly is a good place to start, just to get your finger on the pulse of, okay, what are people talking about? And like me, I spent about a year just trying to get my head around how can a bit be both 1 and 0 and 1 at the same time. Enjoy quantum computing.
Thank you, Marco.